Hello, this is Susan Ashley. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Susan Cassandra. I'd like to share with you at the moment what we as individuals can do to transform the situation that we have at the moment around child trafficking, because it is an epidemic. I mean, it's always been bad. Child abuse has always been bad, but at the moment it's extremely prolific. It's out of control. And we're all witnessing it, but a lot of people are in denial about it, I know. And it's a really difficult subject to discuss. And so because of that, nothing really gets done. Because the people who have the power, which is you and I, the light bearers, are finding it too difficult to talk about or to even look at or discuss. But you know, and I know, that what we resist persists. And I also know that my abilities really grew as my heart grew. And the one thing that really opened my heart was not resisting it anymore, acknowledging that there is a darkness on the planet, acknowledging, in a way, it's like people would tell me, and still do, the most horrendous things, and I believe them. I'm not in denial about it. I absolutely believe them. And yes, there are some that I would say are on borderline crazy, like a mental breakdown, something has split in their head, in their brain, because of the trauma that they've been through. But it doesn't take away the fact that what happened to them actually happened, that it actually exists. So me acknowledging that in my heart, not resisting their truth, opened my heart. I know that sounds like odd in a way, but it did open my heart. And from that place of openness, I directly connect to Spirit, to God. There's no middleman here with me. It's direct. And when I was young, I went to church a lot. And I didn't find God in the church, actually. What I found was that the middleman, in a lot of cases, and a lot of what was being taught, was very, very bad. And I would say that that is for a lot of religions. I'm not signaling out the Catholic Church. I feel that there shouldn't be any middleman, just as there, because it's saying to yourself that you need someone else to connect to God when you don't. If your heart is open, you will have a direct connection. Some people think they have a connection, but it's their ego. When they're in ego, what you're connected to is darkness in whatever form you want, whether it's your own greed, your own lust, or something dark that's communicating to you, but it's certainly not God. So the heart is a thing. And a lot of people say, well, I just ask my heart to open up. That's not how you open your heart. You don't just ask it to open up. You allow yourself to feel the pain of the truth. You go through the pain of the truth. You allow yourself to be completely honest with yourself and what happened to you, or what's happening to other people, or what you've done to other people. You allow yourself to be really honest. This is how you open your heart. Mother Mary is the patron saint of children. I've had some pretty profound experiences with Mother Mary, and one of them was being shown how Mother Mary and the angels and those connected to the angels actually teach the children, the young souls, or the souls before they come onto the planet, before they come into a physical body. So we know that Mother Mary is very powerful. We also know that Jesus Christ is the most well-known name on the planet, full stop. They have tried to eradicate Jesus through many different ways, and it never worked. People call out to Jesus, we call out to Jesus when we really need help, right? So therefore, what energy would have to be to bring such a spirit through onto the planet? Would have to be a very evolved soul. So Mother Mary is a very evolved soul and brought through an evolutionary experience for the planet. So much so that legions of darkness came to destroy that and still didn't destroy it. I've come to realize that a lot of people are talking about the Bible at the moment, quoting it, saying it's a repeat of history. And a lot of things are true. It is a repeat of history. It's because we are going in cycles, the reset. There's been several resets. If you look into it, you'll see there's been several resets throughout history. And some of what the interpretation of the Bible has been distorted. And we also have to bear in mind that it was written a long time ago for a particular frequency. It may or may not be in alignment with what's happening right now. It doesn't mean that the message of it has no value, because a lot of the message, like a lot of the sacred texts in all religions, a lot of the messages, don't kill, be kind to each other, it's good. But some of it's been interpreted as a way to control and dominate people. And we are not meant to control and dominate each other. So therefore, I would say, don't look at the Bible. Don't look at any other sacred book or text or anything. Go into your heart, connect directly with the God force and find out what's true for you. God will never ask you to hurt another person. God would never ask you to cheat, steal, kill, or anything like that. Never, never, never ask you to do that. So if you're battling something like that, know that it's not coming from God. It's coming from ego or something dark. What's happening to these children is extremely dark. And because it's an epidemic, it's telling us there's an epidemic of darkness on the planet. And the only way we're going to get rid of that is by finding the light within. By acknowledging it also, that it exists. Start a conversation. I know it's hard. A lot of what's going on at the moment is to cover up all of that, so that we look over here. Don't look at this, look over here. Call to Mother Mary. Have a direct connection with Mother Mary at the moment. Because we're going through an evolutionary expansion, a shift, a change, we know it. Because we are. We need to be connecting with Mother Mary, because the female principle is the bearer of evolution. It's the bringer of the new dawn. It's the bringer of the new earth. So we need to turn to that energy, acknowledge that energy. When you go to any country where it's male dominated and women are, let's say, in the background, there's poverty. There's abuse. There's lots of things. Yeah. I'm not saying that all men are responsible for that. What I'm saying is that men and women are meant to be equal in society. That's why religions don't acknowledge the feminine principle, because they want to dominate, meaning religion has been hijacked by darkness. We need to turn into ourselves and turn to the divine feminine principle. I'm not talking about men becoming women and all that sort of rubbish that's going on at the moment. Yeah. I'm saying to the men, if there's men listening to this, listen to the women around you. Don't be dominated by them, but listen to them. Yeah? Acknowledge their opinion. I listened to a video this morning of a very famous man who was saying, you know, if I come home and my 4 wives tell me there's a virus out there and you've got to cover yourself, I will take out my sword and I will tell them, listen, I am the one in control. I'm the man of the house. And if I say there's no virus, there's no virus, and you can all shut up and go cook me a meal. I mean, that's not the answer. And yet, millions of men are subscribing to this man. Millions. Why? Because they like the idea of being dominant. The man is supposed to be dominant. The man is supposed to be physically strong. The man is supposed to be a predator in a way, but not dominant over the woman. Dominant in their own right over their own physical body. Yeah? Using their strength to build bridges, to create buildings, to invent, to do all of these things, not be dominant over another living being as a woman or a child. That's perverse. That's not what the male is about. And it's not why the sacred feminine is here. The sacred feminine is not to be your servant. The sacred feminine is here to help you evolve. That's what the sacred feminine is here for. So if you want to help this situation, ask the divine feminine. You know, ask Mother Mary, what do you need to do? I mean, I do it all the time, okay? So, for instance, if, let's say, you see something that you don't feel okay about, call the police. Yeah, a lot of police are corrupt, but a lot of them aren't. And they will do something. If you, as a man, if you see another man being abusive to a woman, stand up to him and say, hey, mate, that's not what we do. Or to a child. In my lifetime here, in this one, I've helped a lot of people, not just through my work, but also privately, right? So I've helped with accommodation, I've helped financially, I've harboured women and children, I mean, literally harboured them away from abusive husbands. Help them. Don't turn your back on them and say, oh, there's nothing I can do. Oh, it's none of my business. Yeah, no, because it is your business. And I'm telling you, this epidemic is going to become your business. It's going to be in your face, in the street, until you start going, no. And it's not about us turning on them and going and slaughtering them and doing all of this. It's not about that. It's about when you first see it, when it first sparks in a person saying, no, that's not right. You don't do that. When a child, like kids these days are taught to be narcissistic. Yeah? Teenagers, young adults are narcissistic. They're doing everything for likes. That seems to be the big currency at the moment. It's ridiculous. Take it away from them. Be the parent that does that. Yeah? Take it away from them. Because I can tell you now, your children that you're raising that are behaving like that are going to be dishing out your pension and your old age. So if you want them to be kind, generous, loving, connected adults, then you need to educate them in that way. Not all this foolishness that's going on at the moment. Pray to Mother Mary. Ask, what can I do? What can I do? And when you get the opportunity, act on it. You know, a lot of people ignore it. So they might get a word in their ear like, ask that woman if she's okay or why is she crying. And then, but then they might hear the other side going, oh, leave it alone, it's none of your business, right? No, make it your business. Go up and ask. And yeah, sure, they might say to you, it's okay, I'm fine. Then you can walk away, but at least ask. These days, people are videoing this idiocy rather than going up and helping. Ask. Do something. You know, I have worked with other women who, you know, we would, let's say I have a client. It could be any one of us, but, you know, colleagues of mine, we might have a client that really needs help financially. So, you know, I had a group of women. We would meet once a week, discuss sometimes our clients, discuss what was going on, exchange different healing techniques, therapy techniques and things like that. Very beneficial. And we might have a particular client that we knew really needed help. So we would discuss it within this small group, and we would all volunteer a certain amount every week to help that woman out. Some of us would volunteer different things, you know. So you can do it as a community. We would babysit each other's children when they were younger because we didn't want to put them in childcare, or we didn't want to, you know. It's the same with homeschooling at the moment. Why would you send a child to school when the school tells you to do things that are against your child's mental and emotional and spiritual well-being, when you can come together with a group of parents and homeschool in a small group? I don't want to hear, I can't because, you know, it means I have to go to work. Then get together with a small group and organize it. You see, we've forgotten how to connect with each other. That's why we're ignoring this epidemic at the moment, because we're not connecting. I see it all the time. I've spoken about it in other videos. People are like this. And so we all hide away in our house, ignoring everything that's going on, hoping to God it doesn't come to our doorstep. But I'm telling you, I am telling you, it's going to come to your doorstep if you continue to ignore it. Reach out to your neighbor. Even if your neighbor turns around and says, I don't want to have anything to do with you, leave me alone, or closes the door in your face. Fine. But at least you've reached out to them, that when they do need it, they will knock on the door. Now, I'm not talking about abuse because, you know, I've had clients that have rang me and said, I can't sleep. Can I come and stay at your house? Well, no. I'll talk to you for an hour on the phone, but you can't come and sleep at my house. One, because I need a good night's sleep so I can be of service to the people I'm going to see the next day. So there are, you know, boundaries, but the boundaries are not a big wall that's in front of you. There are practical boundaries, and then there are ridiculous boundaries. So think about, what are your boundaries? I watched a very disturbing video this morning, which is why I'm discussing this, about what's going on with these kids that are being trafficked over borders and through ports. And I remembered, I will talk about something. I remembered a client coming to me years ago when I was living in Perth in Australia, and she told me that her husband was actually bringing young girls in from Asia through the ports of Perth, and they were being sold into prostitution. Well, it's not prostitution, is it? Because they're not actually getting paid. They're not choosing to do it. So I can't call it prostitution, but they were being sold, and they were young. And they were coming through the ports and everybody knew, like the police knew, the border patrol knew, the customs knew. They were all getting paid off. I'm not saying all of them, but there would have been a group of them at certain times. It was all, organised. And she actually wanted to leave her husband because she'd heard some pretty horrific things, and she wanted to divorce him, but he wouldn't allow it. And she was really afraid. And, I was kind of guiding her on how to get away and what to do. Because obviously in these situations you need a plan. You can't just be emotional the spur of the moment, because it won't work out. You need a plan. So I've had and done a lot of readings, healings, etc. for people who you would be amazed at what I've heard. And I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Why would someone come and basically confess something to someone that they don't know if they're lying, for a start? So yes, I believe it. And in my willingness to believe it, my heart remains open, and then I get these clear messages on what to do. If my heart's not open, I can't get any messages. I wouldn't have a clue what to do or how to help them. Sometimes it's not even in my wheel of knowledge, but I'll just get it. It's very weird. So think about being open to people. Think about how you can open your heart at the moment, because this evolution that we're going through is really about the heart. And everything that's happening around us is trying to close our heart down to stop us from evolving, because the dark wants to stop it. So it's making things worse and worse and worse, so that we go, oh my God, I can't take it. Let me just turn the TV on. Let me put the internet on and just, forget about it, ignore it, and do all of this. And I'm telling you, we have to do the opposite to that. We need to do the opposite to that to evolve at this moment. I know a lot of people are turning to religion at the moment because they don't know where else to turn. And look, that's okay. But if you are turning to religion, I'm asking you, because it's part of a community and it feels comfortable, I'm asking you, don't believe everything you hear, especially, look, the thing that really got to me when I started to awaken was the whole thing of, in the Mass, you're continually saying, I'm guilty, please forgive me. And I remember as a child thinking, what am I guilty for? Why am I asking forgiveness? I haven't done anything wrong. Out of the mouths of babes, I remember thinking this over and over and over again, and really disliking having to say it to be able to attend church. I hated going to confession because I didn't think I had any sins, and I thought it was really wrong that I had to go to confession, right? What I'm saying is, you are not intrinsically sinful. Everyone has goodness in them. And all you need to do is stay within that for it to spread. You see, they want us to close the door, to keep it all tight knit, so that our heart, our love, our light doesn't spread. We need to spread it. Look, I get social anxiety. I don't like traveling, and yet I'm being told at the moment I'm traveling. Again, I don't like it. It's something that, challenges me in every single way. And I go sometimes to places that are so highly populated, so noisy, so much stimulation. I can't breathe. My anxiety is through the roof. I obviously don't take anything for it. I process it. But I still go because it's where guidance wants me to go, because my heart's open, I can hear it. Why they want me to go, I don't know. Sometimes I find out afterwards it all makes sense in the end. But at the time, I have no idea. Look, I don't live my life going, I need certainty. I need to know why, when, how, what's going to happen. I fully trust. I trust, even though it's scary. I trust. And because I trust, I know everything is going to be all right. I know what's coming, and what's coming is amazing. It's amazing, but you need to be open to it. You need to open your door and go outside and face the truth. You need to get off the phone, off the TV, off the computer, and face the truth. And yes, I can hear it, but the computer's how I'm finding out the truth. Yeah, it is. But it's also a big distance away. So it's easy to look at it in a film, in a video, or to hear it. It's easy. Oh yes, I know exactly what's going on. It's a whole different game when you go out and you see it. I saw kids the other day, 5-year-olds, being pushed to steal from tourists. I saw their frightened faces when they went back to the woman who was controlling them, if they didn't come back with something. Police all around. They're probably getting paid. So you might say, but Susan, you know, what would be the point in you seeing it? You didn't do anything about it. Well, obviously I can't take the kids with me because, you know, I'm crossing borders and doing all, obviously I can't do that. What I can do is send out a prayer. What I can do is connect them to some form of light. Small acts of kindness, small acts of light really help. And I personally know that as a child. Because, you know, I mean, I've said it before, I didn't have an easy childhood. I went to foster care and all this sort of stuff. But I remember those acts of kindness from strangers. And those acts of kindness made me want to be like those people, made me want to feel that feeling again of connection, of kindness, of someone really looking at me, someone connecting with me, you know, verbally, asking me something about myself, someone paying attention to me without a condition at the end of it. That instilled in me a kindness and kept my heart open to want to be that person as an adult. So I know from personal experience what that means. So don't think that you can do nothing, because every word you say, every kind look, every smile, everything has a positive impact on this planet. And it does with children. And look, I have literally confronted people who are abusing kids. I mean, physically confronted them. And I can't take those kids away. And I've had people with me witnessing it, saying to me at the same time, don't do that, they could cut your throat, blah, blah, blah. And I will say to them after I'm finished, and they would say, what's the point, Susan? Why did you do that? You could have got us all killed. And you know what I say to them? That child will remember that. That child now knows that whatever was happening to it, and what's worse is happening behind closed doors, is wrong. Because that child knows in itself it's wrong. You talk to any victim of abuse, they knew it was wrong. They felt uncomfortable. They felt shame. They felt guilt. They felt horrible. They knew it was wrong, and nobody acknowledged it. And if I will walk away and turn my head on that shit, never walk away from it. even if you think it has no value, do not walk away from a child, because it will have an impact on that child. And shame on those people for telling me to turn my face away. I won't do it. I yell, I scream. I've literally taken, I have taken a whip from someone's hand that was beating a child and threatened to hit them with it. Seriously. I've done all sorts of things. So there's something, when you connect with that God force, when you connect with Mother Mary, there is a force that overtakes you. You don't feel afraid. You're like a lion. You're full of energy, and you will just go in. I stopped a man. Well, the man was being beaten. I'm just remembering this now. I remember I must have been 22, 23. And I was taking a taxi to work, yeah? And I was working part-time in a restaurant. You know, when I studied, I used to work. I didn't have luxuries like a lot of people, so I must have been about 21. And I was taking a taxi. I worked in a restaurant at night, and it was probably about 5:30 or something like this. It was pouring with rain, and the traffic had stopped. This was in Sydney. And I couldn't fit, you know, people were sort of looking, you know, we didn't know why the traffic had stopped. And I said to the driver, what's going on? And he kind of looked out the window and he said, oh, there's some commotion. So I said, what's going on? And he goes, oh, there's some commotion. So I didn't have a rain umbrella or anything. I got out of the taxi and I saw this old man being beaten by 3 men, like kicked, being beaten. So I literally went up and I said, because, you know, you didn't have mobile phones in those days. And I screamed at them and I said, I said, leave him alone. What you're doing is wrong. Stop it now. And one of the men came up from hitting the man and was like this, a grown-ass man. And I was like 51 kilos, right? Small woman. He, like this, right in my face. And I went, no, like this. And he pulled his hand back. They got in the car and they drove off. And the wife of this man, he was an elderly man in his 60s, which is now my age, right? Was crying, she was screaming. No one got out of their cars. There was men in their cars. No one got out to help this old man. And she was crying, and I said, it's okay, it's okay. And I said, someone call an ambulance, call an ambulance, and the police. They had to go into a shop to do it because, as I said, no mobile phones. And I waited with them. I thought, well, I can't go to work. I've got to wait with these people. I waited with them till the police came because I was a witness. Everybody else drove off. And I'm telling you, as they were driving off, these men, I was yelling at them. I was saying, you weak pieces of shit. How dare you watch this old man get beaten half to death? What sort of men are you? Now, I'm talking about that man earlier that I said, I don't know whether that was in this video. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What sort of men are you that let an old man get beaten? Anyway, the story is, can you believe this? The man had just come from the hospital with his wife, who'd just been gotten out of hospital that day from major surgery, and he was driving her home. And now he was going to hospital. So I waited, obviously, with the police, the ambulance and everything. And I gave them my address, and they sent me a beautiful letter later. And these sort of things impact you. What has happened to society that we stand around and we allow that to happen to an old man or a child or a woman or someone, and we don't have the courage to say something? That's how you change the world. You don't need a gun. You don't need a knife. You don't need to be, 120 kilos or whatever. You can be a 51-kilo woman walking up to 3 men and have the spirit in your body to say, no, this is wrong, stop, with such ferocity that they literally got up and left because there was no doubt in my mind that it was wrong. And that's what we need right now. That's what you need to do. That's what I'm doing. I invite you to join me. I'm not talking about, I never bashed anyone in my life, right? That I know, that I can remember. Have I bashed someone? Perhaps I have hit someone. I don't know. But I don't think so. Maybe in defense I have. But no. So, but I have yelled. I've done a lot of yelling. And I think that's what we do. And it's interesting because I hear that it's the women of Ireland that are standing up to all this rubbish that's going on. So it's the women that are rising up at the moment. But I'm telling you, we need our men with us to be our equals. It's not about men being dominant or women being dominant. We need to join forces together at this moment to provide this evolutionary leap for the planet. Find your voice, stay in your heart, and do something. Whether it's harbor a woman and a child away from, hide them. I've done it, right? Don't give a crap about, oh my God, what are the police? Oh, blah, blah, blah. You're talking about a child that's been abused. If it's within your realm of possibility, do it. Keep your heart open, and then you will hear what's right for you to do. Sometimes I would hear, that's not right for you to do, and I don't do it. But that's usually about protests and things like that. Or if someone invites me to speak somewhere or to be interviewed or something like that, I get, no, don't do it. So it's not right for me. Everything I do comes with the blessing of God. So it's right for me. Find what's right for you. Listen to your heart. And whatever is stopping you from doing that, face it. Stop hiding away. Look around your community, because what you're seeing on those videos is probably happening next door to you. I mean, I could tell you so many stories, but I won't. I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'm sending you lots of love, and stay in your heart. Join me on Wednesdays for these healings. They're amazing. We have incredible results. And on Saturday morning for the meditations to align your spirit with your physical body and start really manifesting. Because I'm telling you, you're going to start manifesting so quickly, your head will spin. So why not manifest from your heart, from a good place, and make this world a magnificent reality to live in for everyone? It's easy to join. You just go to my website, lovelightandtruth.com. Go to the homepage. It's on the homepage. Scroll down, and you'll see the link. It's Ignite the Light. It's the bottom one. Ignite the Light. Saturday morning. All the details are there. Lots of love. Bye for now. Happy creating.